Late on a Friday night, the blue and reds fill your mirror on a road you've driven 1,000 times before. You pull over, wind the window down, hand your license across, and the officer holds it in the torchlight without even looking at it. He looks straight at you instead. Where are you going tonight, mate? Here's the part nobody ever tells you. He never needed a reason to stop you. In Australia, police can pull over any car at any time, no suspicion required, which means the stop was never the game. The game is the next 2 minutes. 6 trained moves designed to turn a routine pullover into a search, a charge, a court date. And the strangest part? The most powerful legal weapon at that window isn't his. It's one word of yours. And most drivers hand it over smiling, inside the first 30 seconds. He still hasn't looked at the license. The second officer drifts past your rear plate unhurried, and the radio murmurs something you can't make out. Sit with the strange fact for a second, because the whole video hangs on it. Stopping you cost him nothing. Between random breath testing powers and license checks, Australian police can pull over any vehicle at any time, anywhere, for no stated reason at all. And if you don't stop when directed, that alone is an offence. In New South Wales, it runs under Section 39 of the Police Powers Act, up to $5,500 and 12 months. So the stop is free. What isn't free, what the law never hands him automatically, is everything else. Your answers, your consent, the inside of your car. Those have to be extracted, and the 6 moves you're about to watch are the extraction kit. Because here's the equation that decides how tonight ends. The stop costs him nothing, but the case costs him your cooperation. Take the cooperation off the table, politely, and most of these stops have nowhere to go. And the first extraction doesn't feel like an extraction at all. It feels like a memory test, one you've been failing your whole life without knowing it. Let's be clear about the stakes, because they're bigger than a fine. A 2-minute license check becomes a conversation. The conversation becomes notes. The notes become grounds. The grounds become a search. And the search becomes a courtroom. One documented account from an Australian driver puts it plainly. Without a word, the officer pulled the back door open and started rummaging through the shopping. Never asked for permission. That's what this video exists to prevent. So here's the promise. By the end, you'll have one sentence, one, that shuts down all 6 moves at the same time. And it works in every state. And stay with me, because one of these 6 tricks is different from the others. 5 of them, the law runs with or without you. But there's one move where the law is completely powerless unless you help it, where your own voice is the warrant, and the only warrant they'll ever need. Most drivers hand it over with a shrug. I'll show you exactly which one it is. First though, the part where the law is entirely on his side, because getting the next 60 seconds wrong is how ordinary stops turn into arrests. 4 things are not negotiable, and you'll always hear them straight on this channel. 1, you must stop. Refusing is its own offence. That's Section 39. Again, $5,500, 12 months. 2, you must identify yourself and produce your licence. Section 175 of the Road Transport Act in New South Wales. 3, if police reasonably suspect the car was used in an offence, you can be required to say who was in it. Section 14, and refusing that carries up to 50 penalty units and 12 months of its own. 4, you must blow when required, and you must comply with lawful directions. The law gives them your body's cooperation, full stop, and the scale is real. New South Wales alone ran 4.6 million breath tests in a single year. Every car on the road is a potential contact. So no, there are no magic words that make police disappear, and anyone online selling you some is auditioning you for a night in the watch house. The musts are short, fixed, and finished in about 90 seconds, which is exactly the point, because the tricks are hunting for lives in the space after the musts end. Trick 1 arrives right on cue, and it's a question you've been answering automatically since primary school. Do you know why I stopped you? I feel the pull of it. Your brain wants to guess. Was it the speed, the tail light, that roundabout? Because answering questions from authority is a reflex older than your license. Now watch what the question actually does. Any guess is an admission. Was I going a bit quick? Sorry, mate. Goes into the notebook exactly as spoken. Driver admitted speeding. He didn't have to prove anything. You volunteered it on the record in the first minute. The question has 3 jobs. It harvests an admission, it starts your timeline, and it calibrates you. Nervous, chatty, rehearsed, all of it gets written down. And the notebook never forgets. Here's the asymmetry that decides how you play it. Under Section 89 of the Evidence Act, your silence at that window generally cannot be used against you. Not as guilt, not as suspicion, not as anything. Your guesses, though, permanent. Silence is free and speech is forever. So the correct answer to the oldest question in policing is 2 words, delivered pleasantly. No, sorry. No theory, no apology tour, no confession dressed up as good manners. And notice the second layer. While you answer, he's watching you answer. The eyes, the hands, the speech. Trick 2. Where are you going tonight? The single most common opener at an Australian window. And it is never small talk. It's door 1. Answer it and door 2 opens. Where are you coming from? Then door 3. How long were you there? Who with? Anything to drink? Each polite answer narrows your account, hands over a timeline, and gives him material to test. Your evening, reconstructed and signed off by you, free of charge, on the shoulder of a road. Listen to how fast it happens. Just heading home from a mate's place? Nice one. Been there long? Few hours. Good night, was it? Anything to drink? 4 sentences. That's the whole trap, sprung in under 20 seconds. And before you decide the answer is to go stone cold silent and stare ahead, know the no-win frame, chat too much, and the notes read nervous, over-explaining, go hostile, and they read evasive, uncooperative. The account gets written either way. The only question is whether you feed it. So hold the line the law actually draws. Your name, your address, your license. Compellable, hand them over without a fuss. Your destination, your origin, your Friday night, never. You can decline every one of those questions, and Section 89 keeps the price at 0. That's trick 2. And now, mind if I have a quick look through the car? 6 casual words, and everything about this moment is different here than in the American videos you've watched. In Australia, a vehicle search doesn't run on your permission. It runs on reasonable suspicion. Chief Justice Spiegelman defined it in a case called Rondo. Less than a reasonable belief, but more than a mere possibility. And there has to be some factual basis for it. If he already has reasonable suspicion, your consent changes nothing. He's searching either way. Which means the only time that question matters is when he doesn't have grounds. And in exactly that situation, the Supreme Court of New South Wales held in a case called Leonard. Even where police had no reasonable grounds for a search, the search was not illegal because the defendant consented. That was the Supreme Court of New South Wales in 2001, saying the quiet part with total clarity. Read it again, because no American video can say this sentence. Your yes is the one thing on this earth that can turn an unlawful search into a lawful one. Your yes is the warrant, and the shield runs the other way too. In Street versus Bauer, the court confirmed that robustly refusing consent can never itself become his grounds. Saying no costs you nothing. Saying yes can cost you everything, which makes sure go ahead the most expensive courtesy in Australian law. That's trick 3. But the next move isn't a request at all. It's an order. And this one, you obey. Step out of the car. Here's the hinge of the whole encounter, so mark the line carefully. Lawful directions are not questions. Police can direct you out of the vehicle, and refusing runs straight back into Section 39. The same $5,500, the same 12 months. So you comply with your body. Out of the car, calm, hands easy, while your mouth holds exactly the same line it's been holding. No answers, no consent. Comply physically, decline verbally. That split is the entire skill. And it's usually out here, on the bitumen, that trick 5 gets played. Look, we can just get a warrant, decode that threat, because in Australia, it's nearly always hollow. Police don't need a warrant to search a car. Reasonable suspicion is enough. Under Section 36 in New South Wales and its cousins in every state, grounds like suspected stolen goods, prohibited drugs, a dangerous article, or something connected to an offence, and the suspicion has to exist before the search, not get discovered by it. So if he had grounds, he'd already be searching. We'll get a warrant translates more often than not to we don't have grounds yet, help us out. And courts have started saying the quiet part aloud. In 2023, Queensland's Supreme Court, in a case called Davis, criticised police for using a routine licence check stop as a springboard to manufacture grounds for a search. The judges can see the play. Now you can too, which leaves the last trick, the one with 4 legs and the most damning statistic in Australian policing. Righto, I'll call the dog squad then. It's delivered like checkmate, and it lands on most drivers exactly that way. So here is what the record actually says. In 2006, the New South Wales Ombudsman finished a formal review of the drug detection dog program, and the headline finding has never stopped being extraordinary. Almost 3/4 of the people searched after a dog indication had no drugs on them at all. The Ombudsman, Bruce Barber, concluded the dogs were an ineffective tool. Years of monitoring since puts the error rate between 2/3 and 3/4. The nose is wrong most of the time, and the powers have edges the threat never mentions. In New South Wales, dogs work warrantless only in defined places, pubs and clubs, festivals and events, and the public transport network, where they've patrolled the trains since 2012. A random traffic stop isn't on that list, and the interior of your car isn't a public place. More importantly, a stop can't be stretched to wait for a nose. The courts have been blunt that police cannot detain you beyond the purpose of the stop itself. A principle a district court judge would drive home in a case we'll meet in a moment. One flag before the words. The fine print shifts at every border. Different acts in New South Wales, Queensland and Victoria. So this video speaks New South Wales law with national notes, and the state deep dives get their own videos. 6 tricks, 1 kit. And now, finally, the sentence that closes all of them at once. Say it with me, slowly. Officer, here's my licence. I'll follow any direction you give me, but I'm not answering questions, and I don't consent to any search. Once more, because the second time is the one that sticks. Officer, here's my licence. I'll follow any direction you give me, but I'm not answering questions and I don't consent to any search. Screenshot this. Say it out loud once tonight so it's yours before you ever need it. Now watch what each clause is doing because there's no wasted word. Clause 1 hands over everything the law actually owns: the license, the directions, the musts, offered before he asks, which kills the word uncooperative before it can be written. Clause 2 closes tricks 1 and 2 in 9 syllables. No admissions, no timeline, no reconstructed Friday night, and Section 89 makes every bit of that silence free. Clause 3 closes trick 3 forever. And after Leonard, you know exactly what it's really doing. It's withholding the warrant, the only warrant he could ever get from you. Delivery is half the sentence. Calm, polite, flat. A man declining a survey, not a man making a stand. No speech about rights, no lecture, no edge in the voice. The words carry the law. Your tone just has to carry the words. Say it once, and if he asks again, say it again, identically, like a recording. Against 4.5 million stops a year, boring is invisibility, and invisibility is the win. Must satisfied, questions closed, consent withheld. The stop has nowhere left to go but forward, to the ticket or the good night. And now he pushes. They always push. Push number 1, the oldest in the book. If you've got nothing to hide, why not just let me have a look? And you say, word for word, nothing added. Officer, here's my license. I'll follow any direction you give me, but I'm not answering questions, and I don't consent to any search. And file this quietly. The court in Street versus Bauer said your refusal itself can never become his grounds. The no is free. Push number 2 with an edge on it. You're making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. The sentence again. Same words, same tone. Third time you've heard it in this video. Muscle memory now, which was the point. Then, when the paperwork pauses, the fork, am I under arrest or am I free to go? And here's the case that gives those 7 words their teeth. 2016, New South Wales District Court, R versus Buddy. A driver is stopped for a breath test. She passes. She produces her license. And the police go fishing anyway. Questions, then a search, then drugs found. The court threw all of it out. Traffic powers, the judge held, cannot be used to justify the arbitrary stopping of vehicles, the interrogating of occupants, or the searching of cars. Once the license was produced, she was free to go. And Judge McClintock's line deserves to be the thesis of this entire channel. A power to stop and search anyone on a hunch is antithetical to any free society. Purpose finished means detention finished. The fork question just makes them say it out loud. 3 things to know on the way out. Thing 1, the myths, demolished in 4 breaths because you've heard every one of them in an American accent. They need probable cause. No. The Australian standard is reasonable suspicion, Rondo's standard, a lower and different bar. They have to read me my rights. No. There is no Miranda here, and the caution comes before serious offence questioning, not at traffic stops. I plead the 5th. There is no 5th. There's Section 89, and it works differently, and I don't consent as magic words. It stops nothing that's already lawful. What it does after Leonard is keep your yes out of their case, which is the whole game. Thing 2, the camera. Filming police from a public place is legal in every Australian state, and New South Wales Police's own media policy says officers who confiscate a phone or force a deletion can face prosecution themselves. One caveat that catches drivers: touching your phone while driving is its own offence. Thing 3, the 2 mistakes that undo everything. The over-explainer, who proves his innocence with a full itinerary and gift wrap the notebook. And the roadside barrister, who argues buddy at the window. That argument wins in a courtroom and loses on a shoulder. Save it for the venue where it's undefeated. And a quick word for the passenger seat. Passengers hold the same silence. Owe identity only on genuine suspicion grounds, and the sentence works word for word from either side of the car. One video, one state's letter. This one spoke New South Wales. Borders flagged where they bite. Now, put it all together. 6 tricks: the memory test, the small talk, the consent ask, the step out, the warrant bluff, the dog threat. One sentence beats all of them. Officer, here's my license. I'll follow any direction you give me. But I'm not answering questions and I don't consent to any search. Then the fork. Am I free to go? And carry the number that reframes the whole encounter. 3 out of 4 people searched on a dog's say-so were carrying nothing. This is general information. If you're arrested, the video ends and a lawyer begins. Legal aid exists in every state. Subscribe, not for luck, for the next window. So nobody in your family walks into this game unbriefed again. And take the ending you just earned. The same road, the license back in your wallet, the torchlight sweeping the car behind you. The same stop. And this time, you knew every move before he made it. But if the officer leans in and says he can smell alcohol, that's a different trap with its own one sentence. That video is on your screen now.